Carm week is officially over. The rest of us are back taking the place back over, except for Braggs. He's still not here. We got a fun show for you planned today. The Bears roster pyramid is out. We are going to discuss. Jahns is here as well. A lock in. CHGO Bears starts right now. Xfinity Loft in our West Loop studios. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast. Good to be back with everybody after a week off. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Adam Jahns. Jahns was also out of town. But I got to say, that the reviews are in, guys. The reviews are in. And Carm Week was a smashing success.
Well, thank you, Adam. It's been the amount of people coming up to me. It's been overwhelming this weekend, and now we've got Carm left sock in the chat, which is. I
want to know what right sock thinks.
The Carm's left sock. I left out an S there. Thank you, left sock. I didn't know that my left sock had an issue or is elite. It was a fun week. Missed you guys, and welcome back. I know you were on the homestead. I know you were dominating on the baseball level. I was thinking about you guys often, which was a little disconcerting that I had as many thoughts as I did. But, way to get through a nice week.
Well, the guests were great.
Well done.
Yeah.
You should be proud.
I saw a lot of Twitter comments because I was not completely unplugged last week. I was actually getting a lot of random things done, like our roster tiers that we're going to talk about today. But a lot of everybody loved it.
Yeah, I mean, the one person who didn't was Nick Wright, who I'm in a fight with.
Really?
I'm working on that.
I forced him to come on?
I forced him to come on. He wanted to be on for 15 minutes. At the 27-minute mark, he finally threw a hissy fit and left. He wanted to watch some.
It kind of seems fair.
Yeah, well, no, it wasn't unfair, but we were,
It was engaging conversation.
We were having a good time. I mean, I thought hanging out with one of your buddies, you wouldn't be racing off. But, Parkins would have done a full hour, but, Nick's
but he would have whined about it at the end, too.
I don't even know if he would have, but regardless, Nick legit complained that you never call me or anything just to come on the show. I've literally called him and texted him every day since, no response. So, I'm just gonna keep the bit going.
Parkins had a great bit last week too, by the way, walking around New York with all his wrong Knicks takes.
See, that's a good lesson.
Parade. That was really good.
Yeah, it's a good lesson for all you young broadcasters out there. Like, being right doesn't matter at all. You just had fun with the fact that he was wrong on the national level.
All right, well, it's good to be back, and we do have a loaded show for you today because the Bears roster pyramid that I've been working on for a while and really wanted to get done before vacation and didn't, then saved it for today. We're gonna go through it in depth. Jahns is here as well. We'll get his thoughts on a lot of different things. I know Steven's already threatened me over something that he's keeping a secret, but he's mad about
keeping it a secret.
Well, he's mad about something.
No, I'm not mad about anything.
Okay.
I just there's a Hoge flip going on that I'm going to call out in a little bit.
Ooh.
I think I know what he's talking about, but now I think I might be wrong. So I'm not sure. Also, we got joint practice dates, so we'll discuss some of those matchups there. That should be fun. And I got something later on the show that's bothering me about a certain chant that people now suddenly want to go away. I don't understand it. I like to have fun, and I want people to have fun. So that's what we're going to do here on the show, and I'm going to eviscerate that take later on as well. But let's get into this, guys. The full roster pyramid breakdown is available to our diehards to read, consume. All 91 players on the roster ranked like last year, with a written at least one sentence on every single player as well. We're obviously not going to go through all of them today on the show, so encourage you to become a diehard and sign up using code HOGE. Oh, wait, no, the code is Jahns still. Jahns.
Forever and always.
Yeah, that's right. He's taking over the code.
That's a great move. But
It should have been a Carm Week code last week.
That would have been aggressive play by Brandon, but Spano's leaning into Jahns, and that's probably a good move by Spano. I would never quibble with upper management / CEO.
All right, so let's take a look at the tier jumpers. Here are the players that moved up at least a tier, and I think there's. You want to fix that real quick? Yeah, we can. We're gonna take a look at key players that moved up at least a tier, players that moved down, because that happened as well. There's quite a few of those guys, actually.
Just for the record, before we get into it, I want to be on the record saying that you did a great job, and I probably could quibble with 38 things on here if I was going to nitpick.
Good. That's why we're doing the show.
Yeah, this is going to be good.
38.
Well, I mean, if it's not really the way to I don't have tier 38 tier complaints, but if I was going to do the ordering, you could have some fun with it. Because there's a lot of projection that's got to go into it. How long do you work on this thing for the record? Can you talk about that?
Well, it's a spreadsheet I have that I'm constantly working on throughout the year. So when the season ends, then I start to
I mean, this is
change it to because the roster is going to change. You take out the people that are become free agents and all that stuff, and then as they get added through free agency, the draft. And then I put a lot of stock in what I can see in OTAs and minicamp because there's so many players down the list that you need to watch them. Like they signed. I'll give you an example. They signed 2 more players at the end of last week. I just put them at 90 and 91 because I'm like I
don't know who they are.
I need to see them.
That's right.
Right. They came over from the UFL. One of them, linebacker Tony Fields, actually seems kind of interesting. He's been in the league before, but. Haven't seen him yet, so sorry, Tony Fields the second.
Well,
you're number 90.
He's got to earn your respect. Yeah. I think that's totally fair. Ben Johnson probably looks at it identical.
All right, let's here's a look at the key players that did move up, and we started with number 4 overall, Colston Loveland, who was in the green tier last year as the rookies all-start, young developing players, and quickly moved out of there. Proved to be a starter, and then really proved to be a starter you can win because of, which is the red. You see players listed in red. They are starters you win because of. Colston Loveland is right there. Luther Burden also earned that distinction for me. I think the talent is oozing. There was a time I was sort of debating if he should be already up in the red already. I actually consulted Carm on that one, so please file all complaints to Carm. And then a couple other guys that moved up into the purple tier, which is starters you win with. Austin Booker. I think he is a starter now. I think he is a guy that when you really look at his last 8-9 games of last season and how he turned it on in the playoffs, he is, to me, at minimum, a player that you can start confidently and win with. Now, I also think he's one of the key players as we get deeper into discussion that how high he continues to ascend will have a major impact on how good the Bears actually are this year. But I did put him in there. And I think, actually, I got a little torn over Kyle Monungai. If he, is he ever going to be a full-time starting running back? I don't think we know. But he did have what I thought was his most productive game of the season when DeAndre Swift wasn't out there. He played phenomenal. And he had some big-time runs against the Packers late in the year, too. So,
breaking helmets.
To me, if Swift were to miss a month or so, I would feel pretty good about Monungai being in there and being able to continually win games with him as the starting running back. Is that fair?
It's a little tall for me. I mean, I think in a pairing, you can look at Monungai as if he's one of 2, I feel comfortable with him. But if it's Monungai and let's just say Roshan in this scenario, if you're giving the ball to Kyle 30 times or 25 times or whatever, I'm a little nervous. I don't know. I'm not. I'd like to see it.
That's fair.
He's
got to earn it.
But I don't know if he's quite.
Well, we only saw it once last season. It was against the Bengals, and he did great.
Yeah,
that's true.
That was the best game.
But the Bears' offense that day, you literally and everyone was.
Well, I think if you're ever in that situation where Kyle Monungai is getting 25+ carries, you're looking at an injury situation with Swift and others. I don't think Ben Johnson ever wants to be in that.
Right, but let's just say let's say there was a dynamic running back and the Bears had the luxury to draft him and Ben loved him. Would you ever see him playing primary back like Detroit's finally doing now, letting Montgomery go?
Oh, like leaning into one guy?
Yeah.
Yes, if it's a superstar that's drafted in the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the guy in Detroit.
Right. Which the Bears, they're not in that position. But, yeah. So, and then the last guy here, another one I sort of struggled with. This was a late change for me. Javon Dexter. Because I still had, originally I had him still in the green tier as like a young player, still.
But it's a green tier in his third year.
Going into year 4 now.
Yes. So you had to move him.
Well, yeah, so that is you're not going to, there are a couple players still on rookie contracts in year 4 that actually are in my green tier. But in Dexter's case,
he's like the kid that you held back in school to make it into the green tier still, which is where I probably would have put him. Keep going.
But look, he's actually started. He started all 17 games last year. He started 15 games the year before that. And I say this all the time, he's not a bad player. So I think by definition, to me, he actually is a starter you can win games with, because the Bears have proven they can already do that. They've done that. They've won games with him starting. I think the question just is, and this is where I am on him, I just think the ceiling in this scheme, in where he's playing now, I think his ceiling is a little limited. So I have him pretty much at the bottom of the purple tier as a starter you can win with, who's probably not going to ascend to be a red player unless he's in a different scheme somewhere else. Maybe there's still some untapped potential. So I think some people are going to come at me for maybe having him rated too high here, but he's number 22, and I do think he is a starter. So that's like the bottom tier of your starters, and I think you can win games with him.
He is a starter. The numbers say that, but I think at this point it's about him changing the conversation about his career. It's always about finding the best fit for him or adjusting to a new scheme, or is this the year where his get off is really a problem? Like every time we talk to him, it's about the same exact thing. And this isn't like a slight on him. It's just the way it is. He was drafted to play a position he didn't play in college. Remember Ryan Poles talking about like grading and identifying the glimpses, like, and that was part of his story. And it's the same thing. You only get the glimpses. Is he going to be a fit in Dennis Allen's scheme? I don't know. I know there's an emphasis on improving his get off, and the same thing applies to everybody else on the defensive line. But to me, he's a solid player, a solid starter. But will he get that second contract? It doesn't look like it at this point.
I mean, I would put him in the category of starter you're really rooting for because you like him a lot and he's a great guy, and hopefully he'll make it. But I kind of with King Book of World here. By
the way, if Carm did his roster pyramid, that's how he would structure
I would.
Guys.
These are the guys I like. These are the guys I don't. These are the guys who will talk to me in the locker room. These are the guys who don't.
Players who will be in the Hall of Fame. Bajan. After that, King Book of World, though, I think summed it up pretty well for Dex. He's not bad. He's just a guy. Yeah. Like he's in the he is at this point.
And I think that's kind of those players. You're either like right at the back. You're basically a fringe starter. You're either a guy that's like kind of just. If you read the piece, like there's this essentially a black line that gets drawn, and the goal is to have all your starters above that black line. And if you can say that, then you're a pretty good football team. It's one of the reasons why last year I was bullish on the Bears competing for a playoff spot, was because when we went through this process, when we built the roster pyramid, it was like, oh, they actually have a lot of starters. Like they're not a bad team. They should be able to compete. And as we're going to get deeper in this conversation, it really comes down to the movement that happens between now and the end of the regular season. Who gets better? Who gets worse? Who gets hurt? That's what ultimately determines how far you can go.
I would argue that he's better than just a guy. He is a starter. He's not like a rotational player. Like just a guy is a description I use for like rotational guys who come in and out who are never full-time starters. At least Javon Dexter has earned that under 2 different coaching staffs. That said, to me, like I don't know how much improvement is there. Like I don't know where the ceiling is. Like he's a second-round pick, and we have to hold him to the expectation. Maybe he was overdrafted. Maybe something else is missing here, but I don't know where the ceiling really is for him right now.
I mean, it's a huge year for him. He's got to get a chance to be either here or most likely elsewhere, and be slotted as someone's going to play. He's going to have to take a step up this year. If you go back to that first roster before we move on, Steven, real quick, I just want to underline it, to me, the best part of this, where Hoge starts it. Loveland and Burden, those guys were 25 and 26 last year. They're 2 draft picks, and they're in your top 7 players on the roster.
Yeah.
Ryan Poles should feel pretty good about that.
Do you feel, obviously you're very bullish on what Luther Burden can provide, but did you have any hesitation about moving him that high to number 7?
Well, what I struggled with was him and Rome. So not on that graphic, I have Rome 8th. I actually ended up putting him a spot, and I wrote in the piece, just being fully honest, it was what Rome said about his new normal with the foot that kind of just, it has me wondering if that is going to limit his ceiling a little bit. Now, to be perfectly clear, though, I still have him as the 8th best player on the team. I still have him as a red player that I think that you will win games because of. And I loved the way he started last season. I thought he was a really good dynamic player. He's one of the best wide receivers in football through the first 4 or 5 weeks of the season last year. People forget that. And then the foot problem happened. And so far, I think he's looked good. He looks like he's moving pretty good to me out in what we saw in OTAs and minicamp. So I just wonder, though, when I start to hear a player about, like, this is my new normal, well, that's a different normal than existed before, when I thought you could potentially be a blue player down the road. Luther Burden seems to have all the talent in the world to potentially be could be a blue player if it all clicks this year, if he gets more detail with his route running, essentially.
And now he's got the faith and belief in the viral sound bites from his head coach, backing him up. And that to me is why I would probably put him in the top 10 somewhere. That's why I would probably put him above Rome Odunze. Everything that Ben Johnson is saying about Luther Burden, he doesn't throw around compliments like this. Like, this isn't just a head coach talking about a player that he likes that's on the back end of the roster. This is a wide receiver that they thought wouldn't be there in the second round, that they saw produce later in the season as he learned the offense and got better and better, just in terms of understanding what's expected of him, Ben Johnson's offense. And this is now a player who has the ultimate confidence of his head coach. So I like his placement in there. I would just maybe move him around a little bit.
Should we look at players that move down?
Sure, and we'll get to our full quibbles in a little bit here. But
full quibbles.
Full quibbles. It's just you're making some health leaps as you put this together that may or may not prove to be correct.
Yeah, that's a hard part of this for sure.
Yeah.
And one of them involves the next guy that we're showing you on this list, and is Jalen Johnson, who I still have 3rd overall, and I think that surprised Steven and maybe you too, Carm.
It definitely did.
But he did move down from the blue tier. I had him as a blue player at this time last year, and of course his season kind of got robbed by the injury and the what he was dealing with. So I think it's fair to move him down back to being a red player that you could still win games because of, but I don't know if you'd say he's one of the best corners in the NFL right now, which is kind of how I viewed him at this time last year. I still thought he looked great in camp. And I know you had Lou on the show last week, and he said that Jalen said he's still not 100%.
Yep.
And perhaps that's concerning, but I thought he was one of the best players on the field in OTAs and minicamp. And so for me, if he can get back to that level of play, I still view him as one of the best players on the team, and why I still have him at number 3 overall.
I think this is a very fair assessment because injuries change careers, guys. Like in most cases, for the worse, for the detriment, and it's on him to regain a level that, like, truthfully, do we know can exist again because of the injury? Does it take a couple of years? Does he have time to get there? Would that be with the Chicago Bears? Does he need to change his scenery? Does something else have to change? Fair assessment. Injuries change careers. I'm with you that he looked outstanding during OTAs, but like hearing what Lou said is a little bit alarming. But maybe the case is maybe the real story here is he'll never be the same again because of what this injury did to him.
Well, and it's Jalen saying it. Like, Lou asked him, "Are you 100%?" Yeah, not yet. No, I'm getting there. But he also, in that same interview, maybe it's false bravado, confidence, whatever. But at least he's also saying, like, I plan on reminding people who I am. So at least his outward confidence that he's going to be able to get back to being Jalen Johnson is there, which is obviously a good sign. Hopefully it's not just talking, and we'll see it come training camps / when it actually really matters.
A few more players on this list of players that dropped. TJ Edwards and Grady Jarrett, of course, both dealt with injuries last year too. I think, being 30-plus years old, there is so within each tier, you're plugging these players in slots that describe them and where they're at in their career. And one of those is declining veterans. I don't know how you can't look at Grady Jarrett as one of those players now. Like, I love Grady Jarrett. I've loved him his entire career. But the guy's been in the league forever now, and it's been a few years since he suffered that original knee injury. Now, can he be healthier this year? Sure. And I still think you can get these. Again, these are still purple players. They're still starters. They're still, we're not saying they're done in the league. But there are certain players where you start to look at them at 30-plus years old and you go, well, they might have already reached their peak, and you're just trying to squeeze out what you can. Now, calling myself out, if there was one player I was wrong about last year, it was Kevin Byard. Because Kevin Byard I had exactly in this spot. I looked at him as like a 30-plus-year-old player who his play had declined the year before. I still thought he was a starter, but I was like, I think we've probably seen the best of Kevin Byard at this point. Then the guy went out, was an all-pro, and led the league in interceptions. But I also understand why the Bears looked at that and said, you know what, though, is he going to repeat that, though? Because that's not what he's going to get paid to go do by the New England Patriots, and I think that's why they let him go. And that's part of what's tricky about this, too. It's probably somewhere in the middle, because he's probably not going to lead the league in interceptions again.
Well, you talk to these GMs and the executives. One of the most difficult things in roster construction is finding that point in a player's career where that drop off is coming and getting rid of that player, fair or not, before that drop off occurs. Maybe it's there for Grady Jarrett. Maybe we're seeing it. Because if you look at the construction of his contract, the Bears could get out of it after this year. So they're already projecting it to happen. Are we witnessing it in real time now? Can he still be a serviceable player who comes in and out of the lineup because of his age and injury history? Yes. He can give you something. Is he an every down player? Probably not. But the Bears aren't projecting him to be that.
Now, what do you think about TJ Edwards, though? Because that one I struggled with that. Because he had been a healthy player until last year.
I think the Bears drafted his replacement. His replacement just hasn't practiced a lot.
Yeah.
Well, one with Grady, last year you had him 8th, so you were giving him a huge benefit of the injury doubt that didn't end up happening. Right. And I still think you're giving him that doubt at 18. To me, he could be closer to, 35 on the roster right now. Last year he was, his actual performance was lower than that. And you're asking about TJ, it's the same thing. I don't know, man. That's a significant injury. You're gonna be able to come back and do this, and speed was never your thing before. He obviously knows where to be, and he's a sure tackler. So I'm hoping for it. One of the easiest guys to root for, but it's a big question mark.
When that slide happens for a veteran player, sometimes it can be abrupt, and there's no
stopping it.
Yes, there's no return.
Right. Yeah.
All right, a few more, then we got to take our first time out of the show. So Tyrique Stevenson was a tough one, too. This is the rare case of me moving a young player back into the green tier. I had him as a starter last year, a purple player.
I would have had him there, too.
You still would have him as a purple
I would have
player?
had him there.
Last year I thought he had proven that. And then, whatever it is, the new coaching staff, fit, obviously he's got to take some of that responsibility, too. He falls back. He's still earning his spot to be a starter, but I still view him as this young player who has untapped potential. So once I start moving guys down in the orange tier, I'm kind of settling on you. You're just sort of a depth piece at that point. You're a swing guard, you're a swing tackle, you're a special teamer. You still have a lot of value, a depth value, but I actually look at Tyrique as a guy who I think could potentially move right back into that purple tier by the end of the training camp even. So he was a tricky one to be put to peg.
And I get, when is he no longer young for you? Well,
I think guys who are still on their rookie, I would never put anybody who's past their rookie contract probably in that green tier. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He's still in his rookie contract.
I get it. To me though, you hear it all the time. You can't really judge a player until after their third year. So now you have 3 years of Tyrique Stevenson. I don't know if he's a young player anymore, in my opinion, but Maybe this is the quibble list for later.
This is the quibble list for later.
Okay.
I mean, but I get how the challenge of ranking Tyrique. However, I maybe falsely, but I have confidence that he's going to have his best year this year. Like, I have more confidence in Tyrique than I have in Jalen at this point, which is probably a fairly bold take. But that, just because of the health, I feel like there's something in Tyrique that's got to come out this year.
Well, the last two guys I had that moved down, and they were significant fallers. Dio Dengbo. I don't know. Do you guys think I'm being too hard on him? I just moved him to being a depth guy at this point.
Oh, Dengbo.
And Braxton Jones. Now, Braxton Jones is a little different because I think he could potentially, if he's healthy, move his way back into the purple tier, which is where he was before. But I think he needs to still prove that. I need to see the pads go on in training camp. I got to see what he can do.
Steven, can you put that list up there real quick one more time? What's the common thing of like everybody on this list but maybe one player, Tyrique Stevenson?
Injuries. Yeah.
Serious injuries. We're just not talking about minor things or even concussions.
I would argue, though, Dio wasn't showing you that he was a starter before he got hurt, though.
He had one good game against the Vikings.
Yeah, and he made a nice play against the Bengals, too, before he got hurt.
A nice play.
But, like, that's my – yeah.
Rotational Dio is, I think that's exactly where he belongs until further notice. And it is good that you put it in the piece, like, good to see that he's back on the field. Excuse me. We'll see if he can actually perform when it matters.
All right, we got a lot more coming up, and I do want to hear quibbles. So hopefully this is a good discussion, though, so far, and we will continue it on the other side of our first break. But first,
shout out to our friends at Xfinity and their 5-year price guarantee. What if you could have reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi, keep it the same price for 5 years? That is the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, and it's the good stuff. It finds, it fixes problems before you notice them. It's super intelligent. It's got the Hoge sixth sense.
wow.
You too, Johnsy. And, it lets you stream the game even when the whole family's doing a million things online in your house. No problem. All devices working in perfect harmony. This is what you want the whole 5 years, by the way. It's a beautiful thing. Lock in your price. Unlock the possibilities with our friends at Xfinity. You can learn more at Xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply. And as I've heard, Hoge, Greg Braggs, even on his trip right now, is using Xfinity to stay completely in contact with the show. And so, Greg,
pretty unplugged. I'm actually impressed with him and would like to give him a compliment for that.
Good job, Greg.
Yeah. Absolutely. Hey, whether your AC stopped working, maybe you're dealing with a clogged drain, you might need an extra outlet installed, Four Seasons has you covered in any of those situations. They are available for 24/7 emergency service with no extra charges for nights, weekends, or holidays. With over 30,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ rating from the BBB, you can count on trusted service every time. Summer heat is right around the corner. Maybe, finally. I feel like I've been waiting it forever. It's still pretty chilly. But those AC units are going to be running, I promise you soon, a lot. And so don't wait for your AC to break down. Call Four Seasons now for a complete AC tune-up. Just $89.95, backed by a 1-year no-breakdown guarantee. This limited-time offer will not last, so schedule your tune-up today. For all your cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs, you know who to call. That's 866-4SEASONS. Four Seasons, your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, sewer, and electric. Visit FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's FourSeasonsHeatingCooling.com. So here's what we'll do. We'll fire through these last three categories of players, and then I want to let these guys get their quibbles in. So we'll move through this. But here's some other big movers that we had, both up and down. I just wanted to highlight some other parts deeper into the roster. Huge jump for Jahdae Walker, who went from a player I just thought was an undrafted dude filling out the 90-man roster last year to earning a spot on the team, and now might actually have a role. So he goes up from 62 to 34, squarely in that green tier. I think he still needs to graduate out of the green tier to prove that he's more than just a rotational depth piece, but he's on here after a big year. Jordan McFadden. Guy went from like a cast-off from the Chargers. He's still young. He's only like in his third or fourth year in the league and ended up starting in a playoff game. So now he got hurt at the end of that game and is still coming back from that. But Jordan McFadden's on that list as well. Theo Benedict, great story. I think he's supplanting it. He went from a 90-man filler to a guy who's a depth piece and matters, swing tackle favorite in my opinion. Now some of the guys that moved down, Terrell Smith, I had him in the green tier last year. I thought he was still a player coming along, might have a chance. Same thing, though, hurt. I don't know how he fits in this coaching staff. Time will tell. He's still on the team in the mix, but I'd say he's probably on the bubble here in camp. And then two guys who I dropped quite significantly, Ruben Hippolyte, who just, weirdly enough, actually looked pretty good when he started against the Steelers, but it was only like 12 snaps, and then he got hurt. And then he can't do anything on special teams, so he's inactive. And if in his role, if you can't help on special teams, it's going to be hard to stay on the team. And then Carman and Adam Jahns, I don't know, man. At some point,
it's the great unknown, man. You could be where you're at though, and make it.
I could see an argument coming like, what's the difference between him and Jedrick Wills, who I had higher? Well, we know Wills can play in the league. We watched him do it for 30-something starts in a row when he came to the league. The thing about Carman is, even if he gets healthy, we don't know if he can play. We have no idea.
Well, the idea that we have is the start against the Minnesota Vikings.
Right.
Which was...
And when he played against the Commanders, too. It was bad.
Shout out Carman, my guy. I would still bet on him over Jedrick because hasn't had like a catastrophic injury that he's trying to come back from. But until we see some actual productive performance, even in a preseason game, it's hard to know where in the world he should be, really.
All right, notable where in the world is Carman and Jahns?
My guy. Let's go, Carman.
Notable newcomers, just so you get an idea where I slotted them. Kobe Bryant, I already consider him a starter you win because of. And I still think there's untapped potential there because he's only been a safety for a couple of years now. So could he potentially push as a blue player on the new team? I think that's an interesting storyline. Couple guys who I just think were signed to win with and fill roles and I think are solid additions. Devin Bush at linebacker. Garrett Bradbury, we all kind of know what his role is going to be. I think he's at the back end of the purple tier, but still somebody who, he's the bridge to Logan Jones, right? Dylan Thieneman, just as exciting as any of these players, but still in the green tier because he just got drafted. He's a rookie. I got to see him perform a little bit but I would expect him to quickly move into at least the purple. You're looking for the same thing Colson Loveland did, essentially, right? He was right here last year as a rookie, and as Carmi pointed out in the earlier show, now I have him as the 4th overall player on the entire team. So that type of jump for Dylan Thieneman as a rookie would be amazing. And then Neville Gallimore, who did you see him during OTAs or minicamp? I feel like I didn't.
No. I wanted to take more notes on one of the Bears, one of their top free agent signings. Top may be a stretch, but
he wasn't.
To see more.
He was up there at the press conference, so I just have him as a depth guy right now. Which is what, in the rotation on the D-line.
I did see Neville on Instagram or somewhere in social media world talking about how he buys a new car every year. And I don't want to be old man Carm here, providing financial advice to young football players, but stop buying cars every single year. That's not a good decision. What are you doing? You got enough cars at this point. Let's settle in. Let's play some football, Neville, and then you can buy another car in like 5 years.
That was a quibble.
Yeah, that was.
Now I want to hear your quibbles, and then I'll tell you the Super Bowl
that was
recipe.
life advice.
That was my life, Neville. And Neville seems like super fun, so it'd be great if he was, productive and we could make him a thing. You want me to quibble first? You want to quibble?
Yeah, want me to go first quibble? Why is Darnell Wright? I know he's officially your 5th overall player. Mm-hmm. Any thought of him being maybe the 2nd or 3rd, considering he's the 2nd-team All-Pro? About to get a big money contract.
I had that thought. I had that same quibble.
So
potential too
maybe the next tier in blue.
So, the way it's structured here, and actually I'm going to pull this up right here. So this will be a good opportunity to break down where we're at within the red tier. So the top part of the red tier is players the opponent must game plan for. Now, if you want to make an argument that is a right tackle, who I still think needs to take a step in the passing game, I'll listen to you on that. But I do believe Caleb Williams is that. If you're starting your game plan every week right now,
of course
you start with Caleb. So to me, that puts Caleb 2nd.
Okay.
He's the most dangerous player that you.
Why not 3rd then for Wright?
So this is where I'm glad you brought this up because. And I think I think we've heard Ben Johnson talk about this before. as much as he loves the run game, this league does side towards passing. So within the red tier, I have players that are blue players in the passing game only, but still need to be better in the run game. And then right below that are players that are all I consider to be blue in the run game, but still need to take that next step in the passing game to be full tier blue chip players. Does that make sense? Basically, they're blue in half of their games, but not all the way. Well, I think Colson Loveland is already a blue player in the passing game. I think he's just got to take the next step in his run blocking at times, basically in his blocking part of the game. But as a weapon, he's there. Darnell Wright, I think, proved to be a blue player in the run game. They did that last year. They were running the offense through him on the right side. Ben Johnson calls it being right-handed. But he said himself when the season was over, we want to see him take the next step. Or was that Ryan Poles who said that? One of the two of them said that at the end of the year. We want to see him take that same step in the passing game. So it's just a matter of – so this is a quibble. But the way it's structured is I still just put a little bit more emphasis on the passing game over the run game in today's NFL. So that's why Colson Loveland is right ahead of Darnell Wright.
I think an argument could be made for him to be a blue chip player. Like, if you're so good in the run game, like, does that kind of outweigh some of those concerns in the past? Because he was still throwing guys around in the pass game, too. You know, there's a few pancakes on there, you know?
Yeah.
So some one-handed slaps. Who did he throw down under the ground? Brian Burns?
Burns was one, and then there was that rookie on the Bengals that he just demolished to the complete other side of the field, if I'm remembering.
Well, there's a bunch of highlights.
Yeah.
I just feel like he's an imposing player who I would argue is probably one of the best young offensive linemen going in the game right now, especially when you have a problem with finding talented, consistent offensive linemen. The Bears have a young one in Darnell Wright. So this is a quibble. I would argue that maybe he's your third best player because I get your Caleb Williams point. I do. And I want to give some offensive linemen some love. You gave it to Joe Thuney.
Well, I think that's fair. And just so people understand, when we're talking about the blue tier, we're talking about all pros, which technically Darnell Wright was a second-team all-pro last year. So, but it really comes down to the minimum spot in the blue tier is, are you among the best at your position? So do you believe he's already among the best?
Yes, right tackle, yes.
Okay.
I mean, the second-team all-pro tells you that.
Yeah.
I would agree with Jahns on this one. He only allowed 3 quarterback hits last season. I think that's the most important thing is keeping Caleb upright. The one area that I need to see him get better at, it's the penalties. He had 12 of them last year. That he's got to cut that down.
He hasn't reached elite level yet, but I do in general. If you're just looking at the Bears roster, like, do I have more confidence in Darnell Wright than Jalen Johnson? Absolutely. I was a little bit surprised that you didn't take the full leap and put Caleb in the blue tier for the record.
Me too.
But
so I am a notoriously hard grader in a lot of different areas of my life, and mostly at myself.
I think you're right about putting where you put him for the record.
And so it takes a lot for me to put a player in that blue tier, and I almost kind of felt burned by Jalen Johnson last year too, because I did take that leap with Jalen. And not really anyone's fault. He got hurt.
Right.
But, you know.
Well, 58% completion percentage, if that goes
that's
up to
the thing. With Caleb, I just need to see.
Right.
He needs to become among the best at his position. And I think he will be there. I'm on record of that since, like, before the Bears drafted him. But I don't think he's there quite yet. He's almost there. And he might be there by, like, week 4 of the season. But he's not quite there yet.
Just off the top of your head, who are your blue quarterbacks? It's Mahomes, Allen, Stafford.
Burrow.
Yeah, Stafford's got to be in there. I still put
put
Burrow,
Stafford up there?
Lamar Jackson as well. But I think right there, because then you start to bring in a guy like Jared Goff.
Well, that's a very nuanced conversation.
Yeah, and I would say that I would not put I put him as a good starter you win because of, but not blue.
Right.
You know, and so I think, and that's kind of like right in that area is where Caleb has already crept in my opinion, and should rocket into the blue tier relatively soon.
By the way, hit the like button for Hoge's roster tiers. This is fantastic conversation on June, whatever it is, the 22nd. My biggest quibble is with Kyler. I mean, you've got him. You dropped him from 5 to 12. I would have dropped him. I would have dropped him all the way to the green tier. Like to me, he's a young player that may or may not be.
He's already on a second contract.
I know. Well, fine. I don't know where I would.
How
put
about
him.
purple? Like
I have no. He's not a starter in my mind. The guy played 3 games last year. You know the last time Kyler Gordon had an interception. Not that that's his, the last time he had an interception was when Justin Fields was playing for a contract, and it was December, and they were against Atlanta, and they were screaming for Justin. That's the last time.
I remember that.
He did not have a pick, last year. He didn't have a pick the year before. Listen, when Kyler's going great and he's getting in the backfield, he's one of the more fun guys to watch on the team. But I have no idea if he's ever going to be healthy again. And the fact that he was unhealthy for minicamp after playing 3 games last year, I'm like, I don't know, dude.
So here's the argument that I should have him in the purple tier instead of red. And that would have been if I had slid him down on the same level I had Grady Jarrett and TJ Edwards as declining veterans.
That's what he is.
So if you believe that he's pretty much reached his ceiling, these injury issues are just what they are, and he's never going to be, then that's where you should have him. I don't view him that way yet. I'm not quite there. I still think if he's healthy, he is a dynamic player in the slot. He got paid like one of the best slot cornerbacks. At the time, he was the highest paid slot corner for a reason. And I don't think his issues have been his play declining as much as just being hurt. So, but it's a great unknown on that one.
Yeah,
He was one of the hardest players to peg in this whole thing. So I totally understand the quibble.
I'm with both of you. I think I would side probably more with Hoge on this because Kyler Gordon's 26. Grady Jarrett's 33. Like, there's a difference in veteran. There's a difference in position you have to take into account for. At the same time,
I have him ahead of Grady for the record. I would say have Grady lower, but keep going.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're all kind of on the same page here, but he's 26. There's still reasons for optimism, but you could sense the frustration from the Bears on this. You could sense it from Ben Johnson. Still want to get to know the player on the field. Like, when your head coach is saying that more than a year into his tenure with the start of his second training camp, just weeks away, like, that's something that Kyler Gordon has to get over.
Well, one of the more alarming things I see on the depth chart right now, and as I'm doing this process in the pyramid, though, is what the nickel spot looks like if Kyler's not healthy. And I think that's part of their frustration is because I think they thought they were getting the healthy Kyler this year. And I think that they still view him as a red player. And all of a sudden, he's not out there, and you're running out Josh Blackwell and Jalen Jones and guys who have already had their opportunities.
Malik Muhammad's hurt, too. So I think that's where some of that frustration comes from. Steven, I still want to hear your quibble.
Well, let me start with what you guys were just talking about there. Odd pivot here, but if Jaquan Brisker was still on this team, would you have ranked him ahead of or behind Kyler Gordon?
That makes me need to bring.
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot here. And while you look that up, the reason I'm asking this is because Kyler Gordon's actually played less games than Jaquan Brisker has in his career. Yeah. And, that was the big knock on Brisker. And when the Bears needed it most, Brisker stepped up at the end of last season. And the reason I bring this up is because my point is I think that Kyler Gordon should probably be a little bit lower because of the availability issue here.
So let's not forget, though, Brisker had plenty of availability issues before he actually played all last season, which was a cool accomplishment for him with everything he had dealt with. To answer your question, I had Brisker at the bottom of the purple tier as a starter who was unlikely to become a red player because I just thought with the concussions he's not. And I thought that's how he played for most of last season. With the one exception, I thought his best game of the year was in the playoffs against the Rams. I thought he was excellent in that game. But that's not how he played the bulk of the season. So I guess my response to that is I still think Kyler's ceiling, I still think it's there. If he can get healthy and play 17 games, I think he would be a very good player in the Bears defense.
Right. I'm not disputing.
But it's a huge if.
It's just the if is very, very large. And you could just feel the frustration from Ben on him, too. So it's like, he's at last chance land right now.
The other big quibble I had that I alluded to earlier was we talked about a little bit already. You put Luther Burden ahead of Rome Odunze, and that's the flip because I remember asking earlier in this offseason who you thought would have more receiving yards between the two. You were on Rome Odunze. I'm curious if that, with the ranking, has now flipped as well.
See, I've been trying to
Is there some recency bias in this because of what we heard from Ben Johnson and from what we saw?
Well, and that's why I wrote in the piece. Yes, this is 100% a flip because I did have Rome ahead of Burden, and I flipped it. I literally flipped it.
In that
because of what it has me a little worried that I don't think Rome is near his ceiling. I wonder if that ceiling has come down a little bit just because of that injury. And by the way, I saw somebody point this out in the comments earlier. That's like every football player. This is a grind, man. You get banged up, you have an injury, something happens, and you're never the same guy again. But you still might be a good player for a long time, But at this point, Luther Burden does not have any injuries. And he looks fast as hell and quick as I can't say that word. He looks awesome, and so maybe the ceiling's higher on Burden now. So yeah, that is kind of a flip.
I mean, if you're just looking at that specific tier, the starters you win because of, and just ranking them, like I have more confidence. You have Rome 8th. I have more confidence in Sweat at 9, Jonah at 10, Komet at 11, and Cairo at 13 than I do in Rome right now.
So you're down on Rome.
Well, yeah, like
just because of the foot or more.
No, it's the foot. Like that is and maybe he'll be fine, but like that is a significant injury to come back from. It's not like, that he's got to run on his foot every time. It's not like to me it'd be like if it was a shoulder it'd be different. But this is a guy that has to go full bore, cut sharply, all these things. So I don't know where he's at. Well,
did you remember earlier in the offseason we showed that video of all the players working out with Caleb at USC? And I made the comment of, wow, Rome just didn't look as quick out of his breaks. And now we hear that this foot issue is going to be his new normal. And I'm concerned as well. I mean, this is a guy who's going to rely on jumping, on braking, on changing direction. And if the foot issue is the new normal, I mean, I'm pretty concerned, especially for a guy that we invested a top 10 pick in.
To overstate the obvious, I'm not a doctor. I don't know. I just have to see it before I would rank him there.
Well, here's what I need to see, and we got to hit a break here. But even if it affects his route running a little bit, you need to see him start making the contested catches
that
more.
Too.
And if there's one thing I was a little disappointed in at all in the spring is there were a couple plays that I thought he could have made. And he admitted that was kind of affecting his entire game, the foot. So, like, whatever that mental block is, like I think he can survive in this current state with his foot if he goes back to being the guy that used to catch everything. And made contested catches because that was an issue. Even before he got hurt last year, there was a couple plays as he was on that great run where it was like, he probably could have had that one, And so I think that's the big thing for him. All right, when we come back, I'm going to give you the blueprint to the Super Bowl as it pertains to the Bears roster pyramid. That's coming up next, but first.
Hey, shout out to our friends at ComEd. We are all looking at ways to stand out at work, just like I did last week on Carm Week. Wow, was that amazing.
It was big.
It was.
You stood out.
Yeah, thank you. What if I told you there is an easy way to save your company hundreds of thousands of dollars? We're not talking about a couple of bucks here. We're talking about the big money. All you got to do is sign up for a free facility assessment from our friends at ComEd. Their engineer is going to give you free insight and the actions that could help save your business on energy costs. We all need this nowadays. Basically, they're going to create a plan to help you stand out and your business save all for free. Visit ComEd.com/facility assessment to learn more. Actual savings will vary based on customers' usage and rate.
Let me tell you about something that happened on Friday because we had this awesome watch party over at Bub City.
That was a good time.
Did you have a Casa Amigos margarita?
I sure did.
I had 2 of them, and they were fantastic.
Delicious. They were also handing out the free samplers, so I had about 4 of those too.
Well, there you go.
Thank you, Casa Amigos.
And USA took care of business. It was a great time, but I didn't realize those margaritas were that good. I went out and bought a bottle this weekend.
Way to go, Hoge. Look at that.
So pair your World Cup watch party with food and delicious new ready-to-enjoy Casa Amigos margarita. It's made with the best simple ingredients. Blanco tequila, lime juice, and natural flavors. Really that simple and that good. Just 110 calories per serving. Woo. Real juice. And if you missed our first 2 watch parties, come on out. Thursday night, Joe's on Weed, one of our favorite venues. Morgan Wallen shouted out Joe's on weed, by the way, in the middle of his concert the other night. That was cool. Whether you're at your favorite spot or stocking up for home, make it Casa Amigos. Visit allchgo.com/events to RSVP for any or all of the U.S. men's national team watch parties. Okay, let's do this because I think the big key to all this is what the roster looks like now. This is what the pyramid looks like now. But the whole point is to see where it can be when you're peaking in December and January and hopefully February. So what do the Bears need to become a team that could actually, have a legitimate conversation about a Super Bowl? So here's 5 things I pegged after doing the whole project. And again, you can read the entire thing at allchgo.com. Number 1, this one's obvious. They need the quarterback, Caleb Williams, to jump into the blue tier. It's totally possible. It could happen. He's on the cover of Madden for a reason. Now we got to go see the results with Ben Johnson.
If that happens, none of the rest needs to happen. For real.
It's a fair point.
Yeah.
Number 2, Jalen Johnson returns to the blue tier. That would certainly help to have a top-end corner on the defense. I think it would go a long way to helping the defense. Darnell Wright doing what Johnsy thinks he's already done, which is great. Becoming a full-blown blue tier right tackle, pass game, run game, both. And he was a second-team All-Pro last year, so all 3 of those seem doable. And maybe so far the Darnell Wright is maybe most likely. I just think either Luther Burden or Rome Odunze, one of the 2 of them need to make that next jump into the blue tier. And maybe at this point it looks more likely for Burden. We just did the Odunze discussion. But I think if one of the 2 of them, so you pair a blue wide receiver with a blue quarterback, you are in great shape. And then this one's a little bit more complicated, but it has to do with the pass rush, which everybody's questioning. I don't know if I'm very optimistic that this could happen, but it would certainly help if Montez Sweat jumped in and, even if it's just for 1 year, played like an all-pro at defensive end. Was a blue tier player for this season. I think it's probably more likely, though, that Austin Booker makes the next jump up, and that would at least give you 2 red players, 2 defensive ends that you win because of, because I already think Montez Sweat is that. And if you have 2 of those guys, to me, that's enough. That would go a long way in helping the defense. So I'm not expecting all 5 of those scenarios to play out, but maybe if 3 or 4 of them do, I think you're talking about a team that could realistically compete to win the NFC, not just the NFC North, but the NFC and make it to the Super Bowl.
Can I add one to the conversation?
Yeah.
How about Dylan Thieneman jumping from, let's get this right, green to purple to red?
Which is what Colson Loveland did last year.
I think it's completely possible.
Sure.
Yeah, I would, in likelihood of scenarios what we just outlined, that would be up there. I would say that Booker going from into the red tier, I would call that likely. As long as that dude stays healthy, I think that is if I was betting on everything that you put out there happening, that would be maybe my number 1 bet of all the scenarios.
I'll give you one more that wasn't on that list. And I think, Carm, you said this to me during the break, that maybe you think I have Kobe Bryant too low.
I do think you have Bryant too low at 6.
I have him 6th overall.
I know, but
as
they're
a red
paying
player
him
already.
They're paying him to be an impactful safety.
So that's, I guess, my question. Can he still become a blue player?
To me, that's on the board.
Okay.
How about Devin Bush from purple?
I like that one too.
To red.
I got
it's possible. I kind of think Devin
He's
Bush.
replacing Tremaine Edmonds, who got one of the biggest contracts under the Ryan Poles era.
Maybe I like the Devin Bush signing. I just kind of think he is what he is, which is a good, solid starter.
Well, his best season was last year, too. I mean, if he repeats that, I think all of us are going to be really happy with the results. But you're asking him to do the best he's ever done again.
Typically, that doesn't happen in free agency.
I'll say my inappropriate comment one last time, and I'll never say it again. I can't believe somebody with the size of his butt is that fast. He moves like he's like a defensive back. Dude's got a big ass, and he moves fast. I mean, it's impressive.
I can honestly say, and I'm the guy that made a big deal about how long Austin Booker's legs were. I
Big
have
legs.
not noticed
You will.
Bush's ass.
12. It's out there.
We've talked about his number and how awkward it is. Where
Thank you. I'm
if
impressed.
you keep going on it, you go to the penalty box.
Yeah, that's it. That's the last time I'll bring it up. But I want people in the chat, come training camp once you get out there, to talk about his caboose. Better, thank you.
I'm impressed, he says. All right. Steven had some rapid-fire quibbles, too, that he was going to – and then we're going to talk a little bit about these joint practices that got announced.
All right, my first rapid-fire quibble is I think if you have Roschon at 57, do we think he's even on the team?
Potentially not. Squarely on the bubble.
Definitely on the bubble.
100%.
My next one, I think you're too low on Benedette. I think he showed he was dependable when called upon. He might not have been some superstar player, but whenever the Bears asked him, wherever they asked him to play, he was out there. He was dependable. He did a good job.
Yeah. By the way, for Roschon Johnson, I have him at the bottom of the orange tier, backup special teamers, but that last spot is need to replace. Ideally, you need to find a replacement. I just don't know that they have that replacement right now.
Britton Brown in consideration?
Yeah.
I'd rather have him out there than Roschon.
He's got the ability to move up, so that's a competition, I think, between Roschon, Britton Brown, Salvon, Ahmed, who's been in the league for a while. He's bounced around a little bit. Theo, I have as a – I just don't think he's a starter, so that's why he's in the backup special team.
I think the quibble is, because I agree with Steven here, I would move him up above, like who's in front of him here? Jordan McFadden, Elijah Hicks, Daniel Hardy, special teamer, Josh Blackwell, special teamer. I know you love your special teamers, but Theo Benedict has a very specific role laid out for him from Ben Johnson in his offense that I don't think is going to go away. It's probably going to be even used a little bit more this year.
The only thing that I would worry about Theo is that we did notice in minicamp that he was wearing he had a good-sized brace on that knee. It didn't look like he was moving great. But then by the end of it, he wasn't wearing it, so maybe physically he's okay.
Fair enough.
It was a little awkward.
Next one I had, I think you're too high on Tyrique. I know we touched on him a little bit already, but when the Bears' defensive back room was decimated last year, the Bears told you what they thought about Tyrique Stevenson by not putting him on the field very often. He had his moments where he looked good, and he had moments that he looked – at one point he was the worst-rated corner in the entire NFL. So for him in the green tier, I think that's a little rich for me. He is in a walk year. I do think that could play a factor in his performance this season, but the fact that he wasn't on the field when they needed him most tells me a lot.
Everything you just said was fair. They told you how they felt about him. They certainly did. They also did the same thing in the offseason, though. They didn't replace him.
Malik Muhammad.
I'd like to make a friendly wager with you.
It's a 4th round pick, though. It's not like they went out and used a 1st round pick on a corner.
Yeah,
right.
he should have gone way earlier.
Yeah,
we all agree on that.
They didn't sign a free agent. They're telling you they think Tyrique can return to starter form.
You got to remember too that they were trying to figure out, get Jalen back out there and believing on his history, which was not a great bet. That didn't really work out. And then Sean Wright had a great year, so it was kind of an awkward. And then Tyrique obviously wasn't playing the level they wanted, but it wasn't like they had no options. They just kind of he just got put to the side.
I also think, with some truth serum, you would hear that the relationship between Nashawn Wright and Al Harris will lead to more playing time for Nashawn Wright. He did earn that. He earned a Pro Bowl appearance. But at the same time, like now you hear Al Harris talking about how the chemistry needs to improve, or they're working on the same chemistry with Tyrique Stevenson. So we'll see what that becomes for Stevenson this year.
Did Stevenson play in the slot? Is that even a possibility?
No, not at this point.
I think he'd get burned on speed.
Right, he's just not fast enough, right? Well, that's a problem.
Last two I have, does Braxton move up immediately if he's named a starter?
Well, if he looks like us, I would say, because I'm basing this off of what I'm seeing. So if he's named the starter by default and nobody really won the job, then no, which is kind of what happened last year, if we're being completely honest. So, but can he move up if he's theoretically healthy now? He talked about how he struggled a little bit with his conditioning. He couldn't finish second half of games. That's why his play would fall off. So if he gets over all that and looks good in August and early on in the season, then yes, absolutely. Because I viewed him as a purple tier player after, before he got hurt. And that certainly did not play like that last year when he was hurt. But he could return back to that form. I think he's the favorite right now to be the left tackle.
I agree.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, he's the favorite. Yeah.
That's a little.
But Braxton did not get a lot of respect here, but we'll see.
And my last one before we hit overtime, you have Ruben Hippolyte at 63. Just a year ago, he was a 4th-round pick. Does he even make the roster if he's at 63?
There's a million linebackers on this team. That was another takeaway of this whole thing. Someone you have Devin Bush, T.J. Edwards, Keyshawn Elliott, DeMarco Jackson, Jack Sanborn. Noah Sewell had a pretty good year last year before he got hurt. John Radigan is a veteran you should know about because he's been around and he's a dependable player. Like, there's just so many guys. I'm like, what? Before you even get to Ruben Hippolyte. So, anyway, this has been fun on the roster tiers and pyramid. Make sure you become a diehard right now to read the entire thing. Again, there's comments on all 91 players. All 91 players ranked. Use code Jahns to sign up. $36 diehard offer right now as we head to what I think is a fun overtime today. So should we do a little bit of a grab bag here? We got options. One, we have joint practices were announced.
Let's go.
I have an issue with a chant that people are now saying should apparently go away. Or I have a Michael Jordan conversation for Carm.
I mean,
well, joint practices should be. That's quick. They're going to be fun.
Yeah.
A couple of days in Nashville won't hurt Adam Jahns too much.
Can't wait.
I mean, it's a very bummer for those of us who are landlocked here in Chicago and don't have the company dime to travel. But I think it's great for you guys that you'll get to see the Bears.
See ya.
Yes. So have fun. And as far as the team is concerned, I like joint practices. I think it's good to go up against other rosters, and I even like them going on the road. Let's get a little road trip. Let's get some bonding. Let's go.
Yeah, so if you missed it, officially announced now, the Bears will have 2 joint practices. I think there's a couple interesting wrinkles to this. One is they're doing the 2 teams again. Once again, it's just one practice, not back-to-back. So one practice against the Bengals, one practice against the Titans. So it's not like they're doing 2 in a row. That's been a shift in recent years because usually by the end of the second practice, everyone wants to kill each other, and it's not even productive. So they've gone to more of one practice, day off, preseason game where they actually play each other. So on the 20th, which would be week 2 of the preseason. So the Bears will play the Browns in week 1. Week 2, they'll go to Cincinnati. They will practice against the Bengals. Day off, play against the Bengals that Saturday in a game. The 3rd preseason game, this is what's new. I don't think the Bears have ever had a joint practice before the 3rd preseason game. They will do that against the Titans in Nashville and then play the Titans on Saturday. What I find interesting about this was last year, this was the game that they treated as like the starters played the most. I don't know if they'll do that if they have a joint practice against the team a couple days before. So we might see a shift in how it might not just be copy and paste what Ben Johnson did with the starters last year is my point, because it's a different calendar.
Hit the like button if you want to see Caleb play in all 3 preseason games, even if there are joint practices. Last year he didn't play in game 1.
I don't want to see
I imagine now he plays in game 1. Maybe. And then nothing in 2 and 3?
I like reps. I'm not worried about
Did he
injury.
not play at all in this?
No, he played
against the Bills? Because they went Dolphins first, then Bills, right? I'm trying to remember.
He played against the Bills.
Yeah.
He just missed the Dolphin game.
You're right.
And then they had the terrible practice, and then it was for Gillet, and then he became the greatest quarterback in Bears history. That was the process of last year.
You're right. That practice was after they didn't play in the Dolphins. They had a practice for only the players that didn't play.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
And it was horrible.
He completed 3 out of 1,000 passes. It was so bad. I walked out of there. I'm like, this guy's terrible. He's horrible. And then he became great.
Well, I'm really interested to see that Bengals joint practice. And the reason is, Hoge, I remember earlier this offseason you mentioned you rewatched that Bears-Bengals game from last year. And you said you thought a lot of what happened in that game influenced what they did in the offseason. So now they get to put pen to paper and see if those changes that they made have been worth it.
Yeah. And it's always fun seeing Joe Burrow. I mean,
absolutely.
Now they
hopefully not in a rainstorm this time.
Yeah, they practiced against the Bengals 2 years ago at Hallis Hall, and the fans did end up not being able to be there because it just poured. It dumped rain, and 2 Bengals players suffered season-ending injuries on that grass, and it seemed a little crazy.
I was at camp. Who's call? Oh no.
No, let's not put him on. we started the show by complimenting him for being unplugged, and now here he shows up in our
Does he have a
face.
goatee?
Now we got to put him on. Just let him come on.
All right. Hijacking overtime.
It's messed up. I mean, if he's gonna do it,
He moved.
Kinda looks
He
good.
moved the hair from his head onto his face. It looks like.
No, you don't get to ban me from Meatball Meltdown Hour. I invented Meatball Meltdown Hour.
are you drunk?
No, I'm not. No, I am not. What's
A
that?
little?
Are you golfing?
No, of course I've been golfing, Johns. Come on now.
I'm like,
Come on
you're golfing
now.
right now.
No, I'm not golfing right now. We just got off the beach.
They sounded like a beer opening up.
No, it's a diet. It's a refreshing diet Dr. Pepper. Come on now. You know better than that.
Have you had any water on your vacation?
Yes, I have drank some water.
That's good. You know, I was by myself I was by myself all
Yeah, how
last
was
week. Well, it was great, but you know, if you were going to do this, it would have been helpful then. No, we got 8,000 people here now. I'm still happy to see you. Just pointing out that logically, it would have been a good time if you wanted to barge in.
Yeah, well, I just was calling to see if you guys missed me.
You should ask his thoughts on the
No.
the Green Bay chant.
I wished you a happy Father's Day.
This is actually good, Greg. You're here for this.
Perfect timing.
No, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay, so I
Yeah.
have something that's bothering me.
It's not Carm.
So Friday night, I was at the Morgan Wallen concert, and he's up
Right.
there on stage, and he like welcomes everybody to the home of the Bears in Soldier Field, and a Green Bay sucks chant breaks out.
Great job.
And
Right.
I thought it was awesome. And then, you know, typical, we're leaving the stadium and in the tunnel. I should have actually given Steven the video. I have video of it. You know, an awesome one in the tunnel. Green Bay sucks. The thing is, there was a lot of fans from out of town that come in to come see the concert like that too. So there were
Sure.
plenty of Packer fans there, and so they were, you know, trying to. It obviously wasn't it wasn't like a Packer Bear game, but you know, there was some of that going on. It was cool. So then anyway, like apparently this becomes a thing on Twitter over the weekend. I like White Sox Dave, so I'm not trying to single him out. I've seen it from a lot of different people that are like, don't think that the Green Bay sucks chant should happen at other sporting events. That it should only happen at Bears Packers. And I don't understand this argument at all. The whole point of this is that it's fun. And it's okay to have fun, people. And it's sports and stuff like this and rivalries unites people and brings a sense of community to the world. And so if you want to be at any event and chant Green Bay sucks, whether you're a Cubs fan, a Sox fan, you know, whatever divides we might have, everybody can agree on that. And so you come together and you chant it. And it's fun. What's the problem with it? I don't get it.
Well, you know, I'm not surprised that White Sox Dave is 2 years behind a take I've already had. If you've visited ALLCITY.com, you'll see an article that I wrote a week before the Bears played the Packers last year to end the year. And I said that I was done chanting it, that when we were leaving the stadium the last year of, you know, the whole Matt Eberflus experience and the blocked field goal at Soldier Field to lose to Green Bay, and they've now lost 9 in a row or whatever it had been at that point, to walk in the South Tunnel after that game and hear fans chanting Green Bay sucks was embarrassing. And at some point you kind of have to call it for what it is. And I'm not going to try to be the one to completely end the chant. I think it's a tradition that's its teeth are too deep and sunk in. But personally, I have retired the chant, and since then, the Bears are 3-1 since I retired the chant. Personally, I don't do it at baseball games. I don't do it in the South Tunnel. But I get it's a thing that is sacred to Bears fans. So I'm not going to go after others that do it. But me personally, I stopped doing it about 2 years ago.
But so, first of all, I think it's cool that you just took credit for.
Yeah, 3-1.
That was so you've hosted 7 days in a row on brand. It was great.
Yeah.
Keep going.
But this is. I would point out though that now it is a rivalry again, and so everybody again have fun with it. And this goes the same way. But to be clear though, this is not Packer fans getting upset because there's plenty of that's been going on. That's different. This is Chicago people saying you shouldn't do it at a White Sox game or you shouldn't do it at a Blackhawks game. I would argue that I was at a Hawks game this year where Caleb was sitting in the front row and the whole crowd chanted Green Bay sucks and Caleb joined in on it, and that was an awesome moment. Everybody had a good time, which is what you're supposed to do at a sporting event.
I think it's a good bit, right?
Yes.
Is that what it is?
I'll even flip this around. Do you know how many weddings in the state of Wisconsin I've been to where they literally do a polka song that's called The Bears Still Suck? Yeah. There's people literally getting married that are taking time out of their wedding to remind everybody there that the Bears still suck. And guess what? Everybody has a great time with it.
Bears fans.
Yeah, and I get that. And if the Bears, as long as the Bears side of this rivalry going forward, it's not going to be something that, as the kids call it, cringe. But when you're losing 10 in a row and you keep chanting it, there's a lot of, trying to avoid looking like the little brother, right? No matter what rivalry you're in. And like Cubs fans went at Milwaukee Brewers fans and their players for holding up an L flag when they beat the Cubs in the playoffs last year, only to then proceed to lose 4 straight to the Dodgers. And, obviously the Cubs and the Sox have their own rivalry and little brother syndrome and things of that nature. So to me, I do think there is credence to, if you're so preoccupied constantly chanting about it, that's rent free. And I get it. That's an unpopular take. It can be as harmless as the Detroit sucks chants that went on for decades, mostly with Blackhawks and Red Wings fans, but it superseded beyond that. So again, I'm not going to piss in people's Cheerios if they want to chant it, but it does get frustrating. Like a few years ago when we were in London and the Bears are up by 40 and the Packers aren't anywhere. They're thousands and thousands of miles away and everyone's chanting Green Bay sucks. Like, I'd rather celebrate the Bears than let the Packers know that we're thinking about them in that moment. That's kind of where I've gotten with it. But it did take me a long time to come around to this. So I get it. I'm on an island over here against everyone else.
Well, I always love the rent-free thing. Yeah, they are rent-free in everybody's heads. The Bears are always thinking about the Packers, and the Packers are always thinking about the Bears. And I can tell you that Matt LaFleur is up there thinking about Ben Johnson all the time, probably when he goes to bed. Okay? It's because it's a rivalry, and it's okay, and it's fun. Just have fun with it.
It's just who
was the coach between Ohio State and Michigan? Which coach was it that wouldn't say the other school's name?
Well, they both do it, I think.
They both do it?
Yeah. It was
so,
the
like
school
that,
up north.
Right, like that's the reverse of like what Bears fans do. And like when you talk about the polka song, like that's fine, but that's a side note to the rivalry for Packer fans. That's not like for us, like it arguably is the number one thing in the Bears Packers rivalry from the Bears standpoint is the Green Bay sucks chant versus what is the number one thing in the rivalry for the Packers in the Bears Packers rivalry.
I think that's changing. I think based on their behavior lately, I think
I agree.
They are. I think the Bears are actually what they think.
Well, and that's why I love Ben Johnson, because I've got to a point where I'm just petrified and want to be the better team, and I got to a point where I'm retiring the Green Bay sucks chant. Then you have this coach come in and he rips his shirt off and says, "No, F them," and then backs it up. Right? It took a little bit of miracles for sure, but he backed it up. So like for me, this is uncharted territory for me as a Bears fan, looking at Green Bay and feeling that confidence that we can talk S, as Adam Rank would say. I had, even though last year was as fun as it was, I still haven't completely gotten to that threshold of just laying it on thick on the Packers fans of the world.
Greg, did you do your workout today, or are you going to do push-ups for us right now? Who just put
I have been doing good, in shape this whole trip. Haven't let go of the rope. Proud to announce that. Let me see if I can angle this a certain way. And it's huh? Let me know if you can see.
Oh my God. Doing great. We smoke cigarettes now.
One. 2, 3, 4, 5.
Is that Jenny?
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Faster. 16, 17,
Go down further.
18, 19, 20.
All right, bye, Greg.
See you, Greg.
Hey, buddy.
Just
All right, let him
hang
go.
up on him and let him go. He's
23 for Jordan, baby.
It's a great
Goodbye.
segue. That was a professional segue right there.
We love you.
I should have said, though,
See ya.
that would actually been a way better argument by me. If the head coach says F the Packers, then you could say it wherever the hell you want.
It's just not that deep. They're having fun at a concert.
Yeah.
That's
They're
my
getting-
point. That's really the point I was trying to
Yeah,
make.
they're getting
It's a
drunk.
good bit. It's
Yeah,
fun.
Come on.
Funny.
Just
relax.
Just
Everybody's
enjoy it.
laughing.
All right. The Jordan stuff wasn't that exciting, but
Don't start him because we're ending the show. You bring up Jordan, he's going to start talking.
Well, I just
now he's
want to point
Googling it.
out Michael Jordan's NASCAR team, because
Yeah.
I like to give Carm regular updates, had 4 drivers running yesterday. And up until Tyler Reddick, who's been his best driver all year and leads all NASCAR in points right now, blew his tire on with 3 laps to go. They had all 4 guys in the top 5, Carm.
It's big.
And the finishing order was Jordan 1, Jordan 2, and Jordan 8. So 3 guys in the top 10. Historic day for 2311 racing, and it just goes to show you Jordan is the best at whatever he does.
We've been working on our depth and our perception, and it's yesterday it came to fruition. Just a couple things.
Good point from Donnie. Jordan, great NASCAR owner, awful NBA owner.
He had a tough time there, but, he had a good time. Real quick, at Bub City on Friday, Jared, you were awesome. It was great to talk to you. Rish showed up. That was good to see you. Crystal was a disaster, but she got there at like 3:45 and it was a great final 15
The game
minutes.
was basically over. When
She came, she ordered food, and she left her mac and cheese and walked me to my car because I was, scared of the city. That's not true. But it was an outstanding performance by Crystal. Hoge and Krista left without saying goodbye to me. So did Lori. That was terrible. Jake and I had a great time. Dave Chappelle, Friday night. Shout out to anybody who was there. That was an amazing show. Shout out Chappelle. And most importantly, as you know, Hogan, as you know, Jahns, as you know, Steven, Serena is back. She's competing in Wimbledon. I think
I did not know that.
Serena's back.
Why?
She wants to show her kids what it was like when mommy was playing. So 46-year-old Serena's playing singles.
46.
46.
Wow.
She's going to be out there. Got a wild card invitation.
amazing.
It really is. So
Okay.
I can end the show now. Shout out to Donnie, by the way, who's been phenomenal in the chat. The GOAT.
Yeah. By the way, Friday was just shout out to the entire city of Chicago. Just an epic day.
It really was.
The weather was
It was bumping.
perfect. The vibes downtown. People were into the World Cup.
Super into it.
You had Morgan Wallen going on at Soldier Field. You had Dave Chappelle at the United Center. You had the Obama Museum opening. The weather was amazing. It was just an awesome day to be in Chicago. We have the best city in the world.
We do.
It's not debatable.
Except for the food in New York and the U.S. Open. But other than that,
See, the thing is, you don't have to bring up the food in New York.
Yeah,
Because
Food's just as good here.
Chicago's food is amazing.
it's not as good as New York. I love Chicago. Not as good as New York.
But my point is, and I'm trying to say this without saying
What I just said?
it's so obvious that I agree with you. But you can think
just
that,
forget about it.
You can understand that and just not bring it up because Chicago still has amazing food.
Listen, affordability, human beings, all the things right here. But I don't know.
O'Chain's got a good shout out too because I had not heard of the Chicago Hounds until yesterday, but
The Hounds won it?
We have a rugby team in Chicago that won the championship.
I knew about the Hounds. I just didn't know the Hounds were hounding yesterday. Congratulations to the Hounds.
It did.
Congrats.
So there you go. All right, what do we got here? We got we're going to Iceberg first, celebrating his 5 months of membership as a YouTube member, and he says, "I want to shout out Carm and Steven for their excellent work last week. Stellar job, boys. Secondly, to Carm, Adam, Greg, Rich, and all of our fathers, here or not, thank you and happy Father's Day."
Iceberg, I saw your Instagram hit up this morning. I'm in. I'll discuss that on Instagram.
Okay. Happy Father's Day to the Iceberg and everybody else out there. Did you guys have a good...
I did.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Strong performance. I kept my distance.
Nutella happens. $25. Not sure I understand some people's narrative around Jalen and Rome. They look good to really good in OTAs, and they aren't 100% or still getting used to their foot. Doesn't that mean that they'll be even better in training camp? It's a fair point.
Hope so.
Fair point. That's the optimistic way to look at it. Bochanton then asking if you had to bet on a player making the biggest jump in the rankings after this upcoming season, who are you betting on?
I got mine. Dylan Dieneman.
That's a good one.
Two tiers.
Dylan is an excellent
Green,
one.
Purple to red.
I think that's most likely to make the biggest jump. That's a good answer. That's a good answer. And then Carman has to sing happy birthday to Corey Wootton before we go.
Okay. Well, Woot, I didn't know that. $2, by the way, for brags of the stats. My dad hates me, Iceberg, but thanks. Hey. Always, listen, we lead into the awkwardness on this show. Hit the like button for brags.
Spent $2 on that. Okay.
All right. I'm really singing happy birthday. What? Here we go.
Corey Wootton turns 26 today.
26. It's outstanding. Woot looks amazing. Happy birthday to Woot. Happy birthday, Woot, Woot. You were a great wildcat. And you became a great bear, too. Happy birthday, Woot Woot.
Did he sing or play the harmonica last week?
I didn't. It was one of my biggest misses last week. I never harmonica.
I don't think he did, no.
I think
It's a bad job.
it's obviously my fault.
You know what? There's rave reviews on the week you didn't play harmonica. Go
That's
figure.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think I
Always.
just brought that back out of him, and that it's actually I'm the problem.
$5 more for brags and stats. He doesn't hate me. I just thought it sounded funny. Corey is old. There's a 0% chance that Braggs has not at least had a little bit of whiskey in that Diet Coke.
Diet Dr. Pepper.
Diet Dr. Pepper, my bad.
All right, we are out of here. Hopefully everybody enjoyed the show. Hit the like button on the way out. Hit subscribe if for some reason it's your first time around. But yeah, this was a fun discussion today. Tomorrow, got a couple cool things coming up. Hoge and Jahns is back. We took a week off last week. We have an episode tomorrow, and it'll be the only Hoge and Jahns of the week as we get through the summer here. But we'll be right back here, too, on CHGO Bears. Bobby Peters, who writes those awesome books on the different offenses in the NFL and did a huge one on Ben Johnson's offense. He's going to be in studio with us tomorrow. We're also going to have Pete Bursich, Vikings radio analyst, come in on Wednesday. We've had him on the show before, so we'll come in and talk some NFC North on Wednesday. A lot coming up this week. Looking forward to it. Glad to be back. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it. Hit that like button on the way out. We will talk to you tomorrow.
We all silly like the mayor.